Finance Committee for Wednesday, May 15, 2024. Please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We have one item on the, actually, we have four.
I'm asking, I guess you asked, I don't know how it works, I never did it before.
That's okay.
What are you trying to do?
I have a kind of privilege to just say, a comment.
Sure.
Okay. I know it comes off like I'm a complainer, and that's not where I'm coming from. I just wanted to address one thing, because I feel that I've spoken to other people, and they feel it happens to them, and I feel as, if I'm speaking for my constituents, when I address this issue. The last meeting we had, when we discussed about the meeting minutes, I just felt like I was cut off. I felt like it was just really shoved down our throats, that we have to accept the fact that whatever's said, and when you try to argue the point, you just get cut off. I didn't even vote. I was so astonished at the absurdity of being told that just because a person corrects another person's pronunciation, they then become the author of that statement. I just thought that was ludicrous. So I would like to just say that if we could just try to be aware of it in the future and try not to let that happen, because it's really, there's two sides to every story. Everybody's got their own opinion, and to just let everybody have their say, it's just really, it was absurd, I felt, to just say that just because somebody changes somebody's pronunciation, they become the author of that statement. I just thought it was ludicrous, and I wanted to make that statement.
All right, thank you very much for that, John.
Thank you.
Okay, on the agenda, we have a request for transfer from the Finance Committee Reserve.
Did we open the meeting?
Yeah.
Did we open the
He
meeting?
called it to order.
Yes.
We did, okay, I didn't hear.
Then we had the Pledge of Allegiance, and everybody stood up.
I just have a point of order
And
as
then-
well. I have a point of order. There's a misunderstanding about what qualifies a FinCom or Finance Committee member to join. I checked with an expert about the matter, and according to the rules that are understood by an expert in the subject, that as soon as somebody steps down and another person is voted and they get sworn in by the clerk's office, within 48 after 48 hours, they are a bona fide member of the Finance Committee eligible to vote. I hear this difference of opinions with legal counsel and whatnot, but I just want it to be said on the record that if there are people here who had somebody step down at the organizational, and then somebody got voted in, they went to the clerk's office, got sworn in, and 48 hours lapses, that person is eligible to be on the Finance Committee. That's the understanding. So as this deliberation goes forward and we take our votes, not everybody is necessarily getting represented, as there's this misunderstanding, and I think it should be ironed out, and I think that person should at least be able to vote and then have the record amended accordingly once somebody actually checks with an expert and not just town council, because I don't think necessarily that council has the right answer on it, because the rule is 48 hours after being sworn in, especially when there's a vacant seat because somebody resigned. That's the understanding.
Did you get a resignation?
I have not heard of a resignation, so, I mean,
It doesn't matter, that person vacated the position.
How did he vacate?
Organizational.
I have no knowledge of that.
You serve your term. Your term is through town meeting, or actually according to one, it's through town meeting, according to the other, it's to July 1st. That's legal counsel. So I don't know of any resignations being turned in. You do organizational, you get picked.
You wouldn't have two
So-
people as members at the same time. So if the
There's
person
a
is
new rep-
sworn in and then
there's a
somebody
new
else
rep-
still eligible, you
There
can
is a
have two
new rep for
people.
precinct 4. I am still the rep for precinct 4, until my term is ended.
That's an opinion that
Not an opinion, Dave.
contradicts
Those
an
are the
opinion
rules.
I understand
Those are
as
the
being
rules,
accurate
Dave.
by an
It's serve
expert.
until your
I
term
just
is
wanted
up.
on the record that there is a misunderstanding about this.
Thank-
And
it
it's
should be
on
on.
your part.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Laurie. Okay. Request for transfer from the Finance Committee Reserve in the amount of $30,000 from the Finance Committee Reserve to town elections, payroll, and expenses for expense and salary for town clerk department. Would you like to present? Hello, Diane.
Actually,
Oh, it's in the file.
I'm gonna have to recuse myself from this.
Okay,
I will also have to recuse myself from this.
all right, thank you very much. Whenever you're ready, Biz.
More than happy to speak to you. As we all know, we have decided to go to ballot vote for the new elementary school. And in order to cover the cost of the new ballot vote, it is not budgeted. This is definitely extraordinary and unforeseen. I am requesting $30,000 to help, not to help, but offset the cost of this. Our actual cost based on the last election that we have detailed for is $36,771.43. And we are required to have police details at every single polling station. We have 8 precincts with 7 polling stations. They are 12-hour shifts, so they are eligible to detail money. And depending on the length of the shift, some may be 4 hours, some may be 8, some may be 12. So there's an overtime, and there's an overtime schedule that goes with it as well. We know the police department's doing their best to keep it at a lower cost. We also have postage. We have roughly 22,000 ballots that have been printed for this election. And we also had to print early ballots, early voting ballots, of which are running about 2,500. All those ballots had to be stuffed into 2 different envelopes. And then we also had to provide documentation to people for that, plus they have to be posted. In addition to that, we have to have the voting machines updated. Every time there's an election, you have to have them recalibrated to account for the information that's necessary on the ballot itself. So if we had 8 people running for election, it would have to be recalibrated for that. In this case, we only have the single election item, which is the ballot question for the school. So it has to be recalibrated for that. We also have poll workers. We're required to have poll workers at each one of these stations. And the last estimates were $8,500, which is accurate. We have, the postage is pretty significant. It's just under $1 a piece. And we are required to pay poll workers. So I'm sure some people might be, well, why are we paying for food? Because they're on an all-day shift and we are required to feed poll workers. Let's see. I think that's the general gist of all the funding. And Mr. Chair, is there any questions?
Do you have any questions or comments on this? Yes, Lisa?
Just for clarification, I'm not sure. I've just heard they had, was it last Saturday maybe? How many people that they had coming in stuffing the mail-in ballots? How many?
We all worked on Friday.
Okay.
The town hall employees, we all volunteered and we all helped out. Some of us were there on Friday assisting, some of us were there on Saturday assisting, some of us were there on Thursday assisting to ensure that the town clerk's office was adequately staffed to get the process done.
That's what I'm just trying to get to, that maybe it wasn't adequately staffed prior. There wasn't enough resources so that this time
The reason
there
that
was.
there aren't resources is because this is pretty much what I would call an extraordinary unforeseen election. If we had time to plan for this type of thing, like you normally would an annual election or a national election, you have the staffing to do this, you have the time to do this. But we're required to get them out within a certain amount of time, especially early voting ballots.
Okay.
Can I just ask a question just for clarification?
Yes, John?
I'm sorry. Were you on?
Yes, John.
Okay. So if this wasn't rushed through, we wouldn't be paying extra money, or is that, or am I just not reading it properly?
No, you would still be paying money. There's
But
no-
extra money?
Oh, no.
No?
Oh, no, you'd still be saying pay
The
the same amount.
The same, okay.
And it's not being rushed through. We have a deadline that we have to make in order for the school building committee and for the town to secure the funding with MSBA. Right now, we're looking at, I believe, a 66% off, 43% offset from MSBA. So a $114,000 project is gonna cost us 66% of that, which is like $43 million.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Were you done?
am I done?
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
I'm
didn't
done.
want to cut you off. No, I wasn't done with your comment because I didn't want to cut you off. I'm so sorry.
No, it's
So
fine.
the only reason why I said that, just so I can follow up and just understand better, is I was told that this election was supposed to be like in August, and now all of a
No.
sudden, it was never gonna be in
No,
August.
ma'am.
Okay, so that's what I
Never.
wanted to clarify, thank you.
Vaughn, I just have and I'm
Yes,
sure Liz
Diane.
doesn't have this answer, and I was too busy today to call over there. Do we know how much is left in the town clerk's budget for the year?
We are working on that right now.
Okay.
We're
Could
scrubbing-
some of this be absorbed into the budget?
Well, I requested 36,000.
Right,
I'm anticipating that I would only need 30 to balance it. So we should be good.
Okay.
We're doing the best we can to balance, to make sure everything's accountable. We still have outstanding bills that we're working on right now.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Okay,
you,
any other
Gordon.
questions? Dave?
I just wanted to correct it when you said 114,000. It's
Oh,
I meant 114
I know.
million.
I just wanted it for the record to just.
And my mistake, it really,
Hold on,
really
Sid, hold on, Sid.
The borrowed
I
amount
wish.
is 60,
Just successful.
it's 66%.
We'd all vote
We'll
for
get
it.
over it.
We'd all vote for it, huh?
Okay, Dave?
Yeah, I just, from the previous speaker, talking about the timing, obviously, if the election was after July 1st, we'd only have to go down the hall and have town meeting appropriate the 30,000 into the clerk's office budget, and she'd have enough, if it was if the,
Right.
if the needs of the election, creating, printing ballots, et cetera, you just need to have it after July 1st for a town meeting to be able to do it. I believe that would be accurate, right?
If I may, all these costs were incurred prior to June 30, so therefore we need for the, before June 30, 2023. If we had the election after July 1st, and it was not already in the budget, we would still be requesting funding.
But it wouldn't be a transfer.
Yes, I would be requesting a
After
transfer.
July 1st, you would need a transfer?
Yes, I would, because it's an unscheduled cost. I would still be requesting the funding, because we only have scheduled, I think, coming up, the presidential election in November, and then the local election in, I believe it's April.
All right,
So
so I
we
guess
only
I'm
have
I'm
two elections.
confused then.
It wouldn't have been budgeted.
I'm confused. So you have a budget coming in,
We
but
would
town
not-
meeting we have a budget coming in to where we are for FY '25. And it's just town meeting doesn't have the authority to make money available for the elections that were unanticipated for FY '25.
The election is not happening in 2025. The election is happening in 2024.
No,
I
I'm
know,
going around in circles.
I know what you were
Yeah.
saying, if the election
If the
were
election
held
was
in
after
FY
July
25,
1st,
Yeah.
Wouldn't town meeting be able to do all the funding?
No, not at this point in time, and the reason I'm gonna say no is because the town clerk's budget has already been approved. We have 3 budgets outstanding tonight, I think
Yeah.
4. Sanitation, the education, police department, and debt service.
I think what Dave's saying is, had the clerk's budget not been approved the other night, theoretically speaking, tonight, someone
Oh,
could make a
theoretically,
motion, let's
we could-
adjust
yeah,
this because
sure.
we know there's an election.
If we know
But that's not-
ahead of
it
time,
doesn't
let's
say
say
like
6
that.
months ahead of time, a year ahead of time, then we could have addressed
You
it.
can
All the way
always-
into the closed
I mean, you can
account.
always reconsider
We
it
can
at
close
the end,
it.
you could reconsider.
Yes.
However, everything that transpires would have had to have been done after July 1st to be paid from FY '25.
And that's a hypothetical. I
Yeah.
understand it's hypothetical.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a technical reason as to why, you mentioned that there was some legal, technical reason as to why the election is in June. I just
It's
didn't
the
know what that meant.
MSBA, Dave.
No,
In
no,
other
I'm
words,
asking
we
for
have to-
just a technical understanding as
Yeah.
to,
Okay,
what
but
causes
they
the
have to be
election to be-
notified
I
by a
think they
certain
had
time.
35 days,
Right, something like that.
35 days from when the vote to approve the schools during the special, which was the 6th.
right.
I think you have 35 days to get the vote done. And that's a MSBA requirement to have it, and I think it's a 35-day window or something that you gotta get.
It's
So you had to work backwards as far as you needed the ballots and when you had to get the mail-ins out and all that. So I mean,
I
it was,
just never heard the 35-day rule.
I-
the first
It-
I
one.
think
It's
that-
MSBA,
Yeah,
it's a
I-
technicality, if we do not follow the rules,
Yeah,
and we do
I-
not have the ballot completed and voted, we will lose
Yeah.
the funding.
yeah.
So you're confirming it's a 35-day rule?
I'm not confirming the 35-day rule, Mr. Lurie, what I'm confirming is we will lose
The
the funding.
process, yeah. But I thought it was.
The number of days might be
I
up
thought
for
it was
discussion.
35 days.
I think it's
It might
That's
be
all I meant,
45.
I don't know the
I'm just
exact-
curious.
That's what I
as to
thought.
technical reasons. Because I think the public, when they're being asked to vote, should understand why we're in a FinCom meeting doing reserve transfers instead of having it done naturally through the process, but,
Yeah.
and now there's a rule.
Because we did it
I
on,
never heard the rule.
no,
and
but
I
we did
wanted
it
to-
on the 6th, so if you go 35 days, I think you'll hit the 11th.
That's all, I
I
just
think,
wanted to know
I'm
what
pretty
that.
sure that's what I was told.
It might be a window, 35 to
You got it, you got it.
42 or something.
Thank you for
Thank you
letting
for
us
your-
It might be a
know.
window.
But so if you add 35 to the 6, you come up with 41, but if you count the next, starting the next day, you hit the 11th.
I just want to make sure people are clear to what. why
That
we're
was
here.
my understanding.
Not yet.
All right,
You wanna?
so do we have any other questions on this? Any discussion?
No.
Okay, do we have a motion anywhere here?
I'll move that we approve the transfer for the $30,000 for the purposes stated.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Okay, any further discussion on this? Any other questions? Hearing none? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, unanimous?
I think we have
And
two
we had
extensions,
we had
right?
two extensions.
Two abstentions.
Yeah.
Mr. Wall,
What
Mr.
about-
Struck, both
You all,
abstained.
you voted?
No, I didn't, I voted,
Okay.
yeah.
I
didn't
just wanted to
abstain.
make sure. so
No,
we
no,
get the
I
right
raised my
count.
hand because those two abstained over there, and we didn't
All right,
count them.
we have another motion here, maybe to,
Motion to adjourn.
a motion adjourned? Is there a
I'll second that. I can
Thank
do
you.
that.
All in favor?
All right.
All opposed? Hearing none?
Thank you.
Adjourned. Thanks for watching